Hi, I'm Shauna. This is Shauna's World. Welcome back to my channel where I make videos about living intentionally. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you can also follow me on Instagram. My handle is @Shauna's World. Today's video is going to be about the benefits of breathwork, how it can help you, all the magical properties it has, and I'm also going to be sharing a new breathwork offering I have online that I'm going to be putting out to the world. So breathwork is having a bit of a moment. I see so many wellness practitioners from all fields who are absolutely swearing by breathwork now, and you see so many retreats and wellness days that are now offering breathwork as part of what they do. And breathwork has been around for thousands of years, but in the last few years, it's really had a resurgence and become very, very popular, and for good reason. Breathwork, in a nutshell, is really just changing the way you breathe, doing some breathing exercises or changing your breathing pattern in order to change the way you feel or how you regulate, how you feel physically, mentally, spiritually. While the term breathwork is an all-encompassing term for a whole range of breathing exercises, every single one of them has some sort of benefit, and that's why we do them. These are really varied, and I'm going to share a bit of what breathwork has to offer. So the first benefit I'm going to share, and I think the one that a lot of people think of when they come to the breath, is helping us feel calmer and manage feelings of anxiety. And I think for anyone who has experienced anxiety, you'll know the breath can be really tied up in those feelings, and it can be hard to lose control of the breath, and you kind of get carried away with it. And you know, if you've had panic attacks, you know how horrible that can be to kind of lose control of your breath sometimes. But there are lots of breathwork exercises that really help to downregulate the nervous system, help us feel calmer, more in control of our breath, in control of ourselves. They take us from our sympathetic nervous system down to our parasympathetic nervous system, so we're not in that fight or flight or freeze mode, and we go into that rest or digest. And we can be much more present in the body and just feel better in ourselves. So some really good exercises for that. My very favourite is 4-7-8 breathing, which is great for activating the vagus nerve, and that really helps to regulate. Also, box breathing is a really good one for kind of methodical, slow, calming breathing. Another fantastic benefit of breathwork is the effect it can have on all of those systems working their magic in our body. So your cardiovascular system, digestive system, lymphatic system, nervous system, which I mentioned in the previous point, also lowering your blood pressure. It really just helps to balance out all of those things. So many of the breathing exercises help with those things, but a really good one for all of the systems and all of the stuff going on in our internal workings is coherence breathing, and that's particularly good for the heart, but for all of the systems in our body. Another benefit of breathwork is how it can help us with things like creativity, focus and concentration, and just moods, overall mood. And I find when I'm going through phases of doing daily box breathing practice, I can concentrate so much better and just feel like I'm moving through life so much more easily. Another benefit of breathwork is that it boosts your immunity. So pretty much anything where you're increasing the oxygen flow to your cells is going to be good for your immune system. So doing a bit of breathwork every day will give you such a great immune boost. Another benefit of breathwork is that it can be used for pain relief. So a really good exercise for that is deep diaphragmatic breathing, where you're breathing into the belly and expanding. But there are actually a few breathwork exercises that are great for pain management. And this is actually one I think I'd like to make a full video on, going into how to regulate pain, because I've definitely done that myself. So if that's a video you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments and I will make it. Another benefit of breathwork, and really a huge one for me that has helped so much, and I know is the whole essence of breathwork for a lot of people, is about trauma release and emotional release. So particularly conscious connected breathing, or anything that falls into that, like holotropic breathing, transcendental breathing, rebirthing, that kind of thing. They have so many benefits, and so much can come to the surface during those sessions, and there'll be kind of a prolonged, 30 minutes to an hour, 2 hours holotropic, many hours of breathing. And often that's a great time for emotional processing or releasing trauma, and it's helped me so much. And it's really important when you're starting out to always do this with a qualified facilitator who can hold some of those feelings as they're coming up, because it can be a lot to go into on your own and you want to be in a safe space for it. But it's such a powerful practice for letting those emotions that might have got stuck in your body when you were in a freeze response, for example, and they come to the surface and they can be released and processed. And that means breathwork can be really helpful for your overall mental health and well-being. And for me, it's really stopped me having intrusive thoughts quite as much as I used to, which I am very grateful for. Increased energy is another really powerful benefit of certain breathwork exercises. So my favourite for bigging up my energy is Sufi breathing, and I made a video on that before. And that's a particularly good one because as well as the breathing, it involves shaking and moving, and it really kind of powers me up for the day. I love doing that one in the morning. But there are other really good energizing breathworks. Kapalbhati, the breath of fire, which is a pranayamic yogic breath, that is really good for kind of bringing energy to your cells and your brain and blood flow. It's quite powerful. And I think on a side note, it also has added benefits of improving your lung strength and your muscle tone. So really good breath to do. And the final benefit of breathwork that I'll give you today is that certain breathing exercises can really help improve your sleep, help you fall asleep more easily, and also help you get a deeper, better quality of sleep when you are asleep. So I'd say the best ones for those are some of the down-regulating breaths I mentioned before, like box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing. There's also alternate nostril breathing, can be really good for that. And if you do include that kind of breath work in your life, you might find yourself just sleeping a little bit better. So there's a list of some of the wonderful things that breath work can offer you. I will sing its praises all day. There's so much power in the breath and different breathing exercises, and just playing around with it and seeing what you enjoy and what works for you and what makes you feel better in yourself throughout your day. But while I'm here, I also wanted to share a new breathwork circle that I'm launching. I think by the time this video goes out, the first one will have happened, but it's going to be on a monthly basis. And it's an online LGBTQIA+ breathwork circle. And it's just going to be a chance to come together in community with other queer people, to check in, to share, to breathe together. And this will be conscious connected breathing, which is a very active form of breathing. It's the one I mentioned in relation to emotional processing, trauma release. So if you are a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, I would love to see you there. I started this breathwork, I think, because I've been in some queer spaces and found them so validating, and being in a space where your sexuality or your gender identity just isn't a thing and it's not an issue, and you can be celebrated exactly as you are. And I thought I really want to make that space for other people, and particularly because I found a lot of wellness spaces can be quite exclusionary for marginalised identities, and particularly the language they use or some of how welcome I really feel in them has not always been great. So I wanted to make a space that people would feel included and could be celebrated exactly as they are. So this space, you do need to be part of the LGBTQIA+ community to come, but there is no qualifying you need to be queer enough to be there. Anyone who feels queer or feels like this is a space for them, it probably is. I know some people, for example, if you're bisexual and in a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, sometimes these spaces don't feel like they're for you, but they are. If it does feel like it's for you, please do come along. If you do feel even a little bit queer, you are very welcome. I'd also particularly welcome people from other marginalised identities. I want this to be as safe and inclusive space as possible. I will also say I got a little bit of funding to cover the costs of running this, which means I'm running it on a donation only basis. So anyone can come along to the circle, and then just inviting you to donate to my Ko-fi page afterwards if you feel called to. So there's no pressure at all to donate. If you don't have the funds or don't feel called to, that's okay. But if you are in a position to donate and you do want to support my time, because the funding I got doesn't cover any of my time, I'm very grateful and open to it. But There is no pressure at all. It's what you feel able and empowered to do. There's a group on Meetup I've set up that has all the LGBTQIA+ spaces listed, as well as some other in-person spaces local to me, which are for everybody, but they're very Devon specific. So if you're not in Devon in the UK, that's probably not very useful to you too. But I'll link to the Meetup group in the description. And please feel free to join, see if anything comes up you want to come to. It would be great to have you there. I always feel really honoured when people come along and breathe with me. I love holding the spaces. So yeah, it would just be lovely to see you there, and let me know you've joined from the YouTube channel if you would like. So with that, I think I'm going to leave it there today. Thank you so much for being here as always. It's an honour to have you here. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm inviting you to look at my breathwork playlist, which has a few other breathwork videos I've made in the past, and that's going to be attached at the end of this video. And just encouraging you to keep breathing, keep nourishing that nervous system. It's so good for you. It brings me a lot of joy. I want it to bring you joy too. And just thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.